welcome to Flory Models Daily Vlog. Here we are on Tuesday the 12th of January 2016 and yes, we're back and building and all the rest of it. Cracking on with the Terminator today. To be honest, literally I've just started on it this morning, making our way through. We've got the bottom turret done, the wheels, the gear, basically making our way through. Is a cracking kit, but, and this is the but to all this one, I'm going to try and make these a little bit more talkative, okay? Throw some questions out to you, get some feedback. You might notice we've got the new today section in the forum as well. This is my question for today. Okay, I've been building Bandai, which, to be honest, we have a few of them over here. Got the X-Wing, which I did some time ago now, but also we've got a couple of TIE fighters, if I can reach them and all the rest of it, because I intend to finish off the trench run at some point. And I've been working with the Bandai kits for the last month, basically all the way through December, and you sort of get used to using them and all the rest of it. Now, I'm back using Meng, and let's face it, Meng are, I would say, probably the best armour guys out there, and basically probably in my top 3 modelling companies, shall we say, of actual manufacturers who are building kits, purely because they think about the way they lay things out and do all the bits and pieces. But, and here's the thing, after building Bandai for the last month, here I am now working with Meng, which, as I say, I think are brilliant, but I'm finding it really hard work. Now, we had a bit of obviously the thing on Friday and all the rest of it. I'm not going to go over it again, but one of the things come up about snap-tight kits. Bandai being called snap-tight kits, I don't think is true, because it's just the way they go together and their locking mechanism. But I have to say, I'm using this and I'm fighting with the plastic. The Bandai plastic is of such a quality that you cut it with like literally my scissors or any other way, it's a very clean cut. The plastic they use, the styrene they use, we know has a few issues, because let's face it, if you try and put, we're thinking enamel thinners near it or anything else, it does tend to crumble. But from a point of view of sanding, cutting and gluing together, it goes together exceptionally well. Whereas obviously the Meng stuff now, I'm cutting bits off the sprue and chewing through in some cases and all the rest of it. And even with the sprue cutters, because yes, I do have some, when you're going through it, I don't know, it's very hard work. And generally, tidy up as well. The way that the sprue gates go onto the sprue, obviously being spoiled with doing the Bandai ones, you cut them, it's almost seamless. It's hardly any cleanup at all, especially using the old orange scissors. You get right in there, just using the tips of the blades. Yet again, to be honest, these suspension arms, they were so, you know, chomping through them, hacking through it and all the rest of it. Clean up, again, Bandai plastic, couple of swipes, job done. You know, these guys, very organic, you're getting in there, okay, so we're going in there with the medium sander, then we're coming in, obviously with the green, with the fine afterwards, and all the bits and pieces. And it's that thing, and I'm building this, and it's almost reminiscent of building on a 1970s Airfix kit, or some of the really old sort of, you know, Revell stuff that has not the best styrene, shall we say, and all the rest of it. So this is it. How can Bandai produce this level of quality and engineering and all the rest of it, and yet other manufacturers can't? You know, it does seem to be a little bit completely different ball game. And I know, I'm not saying for a minute that there's anything wrong with the main kits and all the rest of it. It's just that I have been spoiled totally for the last month. So here I am now coming in, and it just, everything seems hard work. Everything seems a chore to put together and all the rest of it. But as I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not poking at this kit. This is just in general that modelling seems to have missed something here. And I know some of the guys, obviously, they define these things as being snap-tight kits because, to be honest, this one here, there is no glue. Just because there's no glue in it, I don't think you can sort of term them as being a snap-tight kit. It's not like this is designed for a kid to do, because obviously they do some very quite impressive stuff, and let's face it, you know, looking at the sort of, you know, the big mech stuff, the Gundam stuff and all the rest of it that actually Bandai do, incredibly, you know, complex, huge, expensive and all the rest of it. So I don't think it's just a question of that. I think it's just a different mindset that you go into it. And now I'm back to traditional modelling, if you like, where you need to sand, fill, glue and all the rest of it. It just seems to be a little bit of a step back. But here's the question. Is Bandai kits too easy? You know, you guys have built them, and let's face it, a lot of you have, judging by obviously the work that's gone in the forum over the last month. Do you think it's taking something away from the hobby, that technically engineering is to such a level with those kits that, you know, you basically just push two halves together and away you go, you know, and you've got a seamless fit? is it almost taking away skills? You know, that technically as modelers, you try and, you know, master, obviously, you know, seam filling and, you know, dry fitting, which I think gets overlooked far too much. People are too, you know, eager with the glue, two parts together, and then it doesn't work, then they fill it. Where I'm more of a guy, right, put it together, if it doesn't go, let's fix it, then we'll get it together. That way we don't need filler, because in the long run I think it's quicker. But do you think it's almost moving away from the hobby? Snap tight kits are more a case of painting and weathering, you know, and to be honest, I make no bones about it, that's the bit I enjoy most. Doing the construction part, I don't dislike it, but I sort of get the mojo going a little bit more when I get into that stage of coming in and say, right, okay, right, how are we going to weather this one, how are we going to do this one, and doing different techniques and trying different things. As you know, I like to try all various techniques and making our way through. So, you know, that is today's question. Do you think if all these manufacturers suddenly woke up and thought, hold on, everyone's talking about this Bandai, what's different? And all of a sudden they make kits that are as good as Bandai. Do you think that's taking something away from the hobby? You know, is it part of the hobby of putting together a kit that's a bit of a challenge? Because let's face it, the Bandai stuff isn't a challenge. It is straightforward and all the rest of it. So, you know, do you think it's taking something away? Would you be disappointed if all kits started coming very much like the Bandai ones, which just click together and give you fantastic, and then you can push on with weathering? Do you think it should be kept separate? Do you think that those kits have their place? Because obviously I think they're great for the kids coming in. I think they're amazing for that point of view, to get people back into the hobby, go and build Bandai, because, you know, all of a sudden that's it. But they're going to be into a shock when they come in to try and do this, because this is quite hard work in comparison and all the rest of it. So it's a couple of questions out for you, and I thought, you know, over the shows, not saying everyone, but certainly as I come up with them, you know, we can have a little bit of a discussion and do it like that. So there we go. So yesterday we had the last part of the Stormtrooper with the weathering. It is free to air. I forgot to mention it, I got carried away on yesterday's vlog, but obviously you could see that one. If you're a non-member, go and have a look. Obviously it's on the Flory Models Today page, and it's actually on the Facebook page as well, in the weathering section. No, yeah, it is on Facebook, and sorry, I'm thinking of YouTube. It's in the YouTube section under the free to watch videos, and in the weathering section as well, and everything else like that, purely because we just use Flory Models wash. So pretty straightforward, flat coat, job done, piece of cake. But there we go. So I am working on the Terminator. I intend to get most of this together today and tomorrow. Then I'm starting on the MiG-21. So again, we're going to be working our way through that one and everything else. So the first part, hopefully for this one, will be up with you tomorrow. So that will show you really getting along as we're doing this one down here. Some great touches with this guy. I love this little guy. This guy, I just have to say, is a great little tool, because what this is, which I didn't twig in the review when I was doing it, but it fits down on the suspension because it's got working suspension on it. Again, do you think that's any good? Do you think it's just a gimmick and all the rest of it? But anyway, working suspension. So you put this bar on so you know all the actual suspension arms for the road wheels are all in the correct place. That way you don't get that thing of like one that's hovering, or perhaps one that's too far down and all the rest of it. So by having this little bar on the side, because it slips up and down, you know it's perfect. You can align all of those, set them inside, let them dry. So when you do take it off, like we have now, you know you've got a perfect line out. So when the road wheels all go on, it fits down absolutely perfectly, just like that. But anyway, that will be up with you on Wednesday, and then hopefully what will be back to normal somewhat. Then we're going to have, obviously, the MiG-21 will be up Monday, then this one will become the Wednesday build. The MiG will become the Monday one until we finish those and working our way through the other ones. Big thank you to everybody who's got involved in the forum as well. Great suggestions, and I love that C-17 and all the different things. Not going to do one, but I have got the kit. I have got a C-17 down there and all the rest of it. So some great options with the deckling and everything else. Got a bit carried away. I've got coming in, I thought they'd be here today, but they're not. I was going to show you, I'll show you tomorrow. But I've actually got a 747-800 and I've got a 787 Dreamliner coming in, and I might do both. So I might just do a back-to-back build, because let's face it, construction's going to be a doddle with those. He says, hoping, but everything else. But with the Dreamliner, I have gone overboard and bought a lot of extras for it. So we've got new engines, new pylons, new bits and pieces all over it. So it might be a case of, if you do want 747, I will do it, but I'm going to do the 787 as well and go along with them. So maybe expanding on that one as we make our way through. A load of you you've said about what you're going to do, but you never mentioned anything sort of, maritime. Stay tuned. I might do something in the summer, naval wise. Not saying I'm going to be doing a 1 to 200 scale monster or anything else like that, because I'm not, but I might get back into it a little bit. I did enjoy doing the Wasp, but again, extremely complex and all the rest of it. I might do something just a little bit smaller and just to refine naval skills, naval techniques and things like that as we make our way through. So there we go, a few talking points for you today. Remember, have a look in the actual forum. It's right at the top in the welcome section. We've got the today section now where you'll find all these news shows, all the vlogs and everything else we do will be put down there. No live show tonight, obviously. So what's going to happen is we're planning on doing the live show, if I can get the guys all in, on a certain date each month. So it might be like the first Tuesday of every month, or we might do, whatever it's going to be right the way through. So obviously all the guys come together in here. We get a full studio so we can answer as many questions as you can, and we can have a giggle afterwards after the watershed is finished, and play some games and various bits and pieces I've got lined up for that one as well. So there we go. That's it for today, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.